Here we have a young leveret that came in, and he has made himself a little form in the long grass, and it's quite nice to see this so clearly, because as you can see he's rock still, knows we're there, but he's not about to move, and this is exactly what happens in the wild, and this is how they hope to remain safe from predators, by not moving and just staying still. He's quite happy in there. When they make these little forms, they'll sit in them even when it rains, as opposed to going into the shed, so they're quite happy in them. Here are two little leverets that came into us, if we can see them coming up, I think. Yes, there we are. These wee ones come in, had been hand reared, and were far too tame for release. They're about 6 to 8 weeks here, and we have put them in the pen to let them go wild before we release them now. We've only had them a couple of days, and even in that time they have become a lot wilder than they were. Up until this morning they were in a smaller pen and in the shed, where they had access to the small pen, and I just opened the gate into the big pen this morning to give them a larger area, and they're so full of life and so full of fun. That's what has enabled us to get this footage, which is very good. By the way, I apologise for the state of the video. I'm not used to working with video, as you can tell, and hopefully from now on any more that I do will be a lot better. This was sort of the first one that I cut my teeth on. But anyway, hopefully you'll be able to see the leverets, and that will make up for it. As I say, these two already have started to go wild, as in when they came in 2 days ago they kept coming over to be picked up and cuddled, because that's what they were used to. And today they keep running over, but if I go to put my hand out to touch them, they run away. One of them is more tame than the other. We think it's a male, and the other one is a female. We don't sex them because it's just more stress for them. And at the end of the day, the plan, if we can raise them and release them, then that's everything. It doesn't really matter what sex they are. But what we have found is that mostly the little males would be friendlier and more easily tamed than the females, and that's why we think that the tamer one here is a male, and the one that's a bit more wild is a female. Now, as you can see, they're running around here playing. The grass here is nice and long at the minute, which is wonderful. I don't know if you can see, but outside the pen, the grass in the rest of the field is even longer, and so when we do release them, they'll be going just into the same sort of environment. We don't graze the field when we have hares to release, so that there's plenty of cover for them. We have 56 acres here, which we have enhanced for wildlife, and that means that there's always a lot of cover at any time, and we have all kinds. We have breeding curlew and all kinds here because of that, and we have found in the 3 years we've been here that the wildlife, especially the birds, is coming back. Our little hares, when we release them, we have no idea where they're going to go. Hares have a territory of about 10 kilometres or so they could end up anywhere. Because there's been no hares here in Glenlark for the past 20 years or so, we know that any we see are ones that we have released, and we have seen 3 adults, and we have also had reports from local farmers, etc., of other hares that have been seen. So they do seem to be, some of them at least seem to be making it to adulthood. As you can see, we have put branches and things in here. At first I didn't think they would bother with them, as they like to be out in the open, but they do have great fun. They'll hide in underneath them, they jump up on top of them, and generally they're very playful little things. I always prefer to have multiple leverets in as opposed to one. I think they do much better when they have company, and they seem to, when very young, like to stay close and groom each other, and as they get a little bit older, like now, they tend to spend more time away from each other. They just seem to come across each other by accident, have a little bit of interaction, and then go on their own way. I'm so pleased to see them, doing so well. Just in 2 days they've come on so well, and this will continue, and hopefully in a week to 2 weeks they'll be wild enough so that we can release them, in that they won't want anything to do with humans and will run away as opposed to coming towards us. It's always heartbreaking when you let them go, because you have no control then over what happens to them, but all we can do is give them a helping hand and wish them luck when we do release them. Nice to get the two of them together there. It's not often you get the two of them in the one shot. What we do, I mean, there's lots of green stuff here for them to eat, but we also bring in a lot of stuff from outside. We have lanes and things here that there's no sprays on, pesticides or other poisons, and I bring home a lot of stuff every time we go out in the car. We're always taking polythene bags around with us, and if I see anything, we stop the car, get out, gather bags of stuff and bring it back, because I think the more variety they have in their feeding foodstuffs, the better for them when they do go out on their own. It'll be, there'll be stuff that they come across that they're already familiar with. They're very good at hiding. When they want to hide, they're very difficult to spot. Sometimes all you see is a little bit of grass waving about, if you're lucky. It's having a bit of a taste. They're doing very well, because up until now they haven't been outside, and so you can see how much they're enjoying it. We've only been here 2 days and already they're absolutely loving it. I'm sure they just can't wait to get out in the open. What we have found, that it's very crucial with young hares that you expand their territory before they're released. Now, we release them at about 8 weeks, and we have found that keeping them after that stresses them, because they know the territory so well and they just want out to extend their boundaries. We start off with them in the shed, then we open the flap and they come out into the first pen. Then when they're running around the outside of that and obviously looking to get away, we open the big back pen, which is our largest pen, and then they can get into it as well and explore it, which is what they're doing now. When it gets to the point when they're just running around the boundary of the netting wire and standing up and looking out and really wanting to be away, we will then open the third pen. And again, after a few days, that's the final pen. We just open up the door, and in their own time they come out into the field. And what we find is, once they come out into the field, they disperse and they don't come back again.